The U.S. Navy is on track to acquire the first of its new Constellation class frigates in 2025. The frigate will be armed with a large vertical launch area defense missile system, the RIM-162 ESSM, or the RIM-1600A multifunction X or S-band active electronically scanned array radar, an electronic warfare suite anti-torpedo, countermeasures and torpedoes, a 127mm gun, and two 11-meter rigid hull inflatable boats. So how much will this warship actually cost? Stay tuned to find out. So what do we know about the Constellation-class frigate? The new class will replace the Navy's aging fleet of 10 Oliver Hazard Perry-class guided missile frigates, which entered service between 1976 and 1986. The new ships are being designed from the outset to operate alongside the Navy's existing and planned surface combatants, as well as with unmanned systems such as the Virginia-class attack submarines and modular offensive weapons. The modular design will also allow the ship to be tailored to specific missions with pre-configured suites of systems known as kits. For example, one kit may be optimized for anti-submarine warfare, while another is configured for land attack. The frigates will have a displacement of around 7,000 tons when fully loaded. It will be 499 feet long, which is 152 meters, and have a beam or width of 66 feet or 20 meters. The draft or depth of the ship will be 16 feet or 4.9 meters. It will have a speed of 29 knots or around 53 kilometers per hour, and will have a range of 4,000 nautical miles or around 7,400 kilometers at 15 knots or around 28 kilometers per hour. Power will come from two A-1B gas turbine engines coupled with two shafts. The ship will be equipped with a single integrated electric drive system, which means that it will have one main propulsion motor. This will be powered by either port or starboard engine, or both together, depending on the mission profile required. Both the propulsion system and the integrated electric drive system will be supplied by the Italian company Fincantieri, who are building the ships in cooperation with the American company Marinette Marine. The contract for the construction of the lead ship of the class, the USS Constellation, was awarded to Fincantieri in 2020. The estimated cost of the contract was $7.5 billion. However, it has been reported that the cost could rise to over $10 billion due to inflation. The ship will have a crew of around 240 sailors. It will have a flight deck for a single SH-60 Seahawk helicopter. It will also carry two MH-60 Romeos or MH-60 Seahawks. But the flight deck can be configured to operate the larger MH-60 Sierra. The ship will be equipped with the Mark 41 VLS, which is a vertical launch system used for launching a variety of missiles, including the ES. The Mark 41 VLS is already in service in the U.S. Navy and is known to be reliable. This will be the first time that the ESSM will be fitted to a U.S. Navy ship. In fact, there have only been 3 navies that have operated the ESSM so far. These are the U.S. Navy, where it was tested, Swedish Navy, and the Australian Navy. The ESSM has a range of around 40 miles or 64 kilometers. It uses a radio to detonate the warhead. This is different from other missiles that use an impact fuse. The advantage of using a radio to detonate the warhead is that it can be made to detonate at a specific altitude above the target. It can also be made to detonate at a specific time delay after launch. It has a maximum over-attack and a top over-attack. Over-attack means that the missile flies above the target and detonates downward, where the explosion does the most damage. Top over-attack means that the missile flies below the target and detonates upward. This is useful when attacking enemy ships, because they are usually protected against incoming missiles from above. The frigates will be equipped with a 127mm gun. This is an increase in size from the 76mm gun that is fitted to the Perry-class frigates. It will also be able to carry two 11-meter rigid hull inflatable boats. These boats will be launched from a well deck and will be used for visiting, delivering, and replenishing other ships at sea. They will also be used for search and rescue operations. The well deck is a well or pit in the deck of a ship that is used for storing and operating small boats and vehicles. But the Constellation-class frigates will not only be armed with a large VLS and a 127mm gun, but they will also carry torpedoes. What kind of torpedoes will they carry, and how many? Unfortunately, this information is not publicly available, but it is known that the torpedoes will be carried in a torpedo room. The torpedoes will be launched via a torpedo launcher tube that is fitted to the ship. The torpedo launcher tube will be connected to the ship's combat data network, which will provide it with targeting data. The ship will also be equipped with anti-torpedo countermeasures to protect itself against incoming torpedoes. Anti-torpedo countermeasures are designed to deceive incoming torpedoes and cause them to miss their target. They can be launched from a torpedo countermeasure launcher, which is a device that is fitted to the ship. It is also known that the frigates will be equipped with an electronic warfare suite. Electronic warfare is the use of electronic methods to find, identify, and neutralize enemy electronic systems. An electronic warfare suite can be used to detect, identify, and locate enemy radars and communication systems. It can also be used to jam or disrupt enemy radars and communications. The frigates will also be equipped with a multifunction X or S-band active electronically scanned array radar. An active electronically scanned array radar is a type of radar that uses an array of solid-state transmitters and receivers to generate and transmit radio waves. The main advantage of an active electronically scanned array radar is its ability to scan and track multiple targets at once. It can also be used to generate a 3D view of the battlefield. The frigates will be equipped with a combat management system that will control and coordinate the ship's weapons and sensors. The combat management system will provide the ship's crew with a real-time display of the battlefield. All of these features and equipment make the Constellation-class frigate a very capable and modern warship. Let's take a look at the cost of some similar warships around the world. The Frem is a multi-purpose frigate that is being built for the Italian Navy and the French Navy. It has a displacement of 6,700 tons and is armed with a 127mm gun and a VLS, the FREMM frigates. Cost around €1 billion each. The FREMM is smaller than the Constellation-class frigate. The Frem has a displacement of 6,700 tons, while the Constellation-class frigate has a displacement of 7,000 tons. The Frem is also armed with a smaller 127mm gun and a smaller VLS compared to the Constellation-class frigate. Despite these differences, the Constellation-class frigate is still expected to cost less than the FREMM frigates. The F100 is a multi-purpose frigate that is being built for the German Navy. It has a displacement of 7,000 tons, and is armed with a 127mm gun and a VLS. The F100 frigates cost around €1.2 billion each. Again, like the FREMM, the F100 is smaller than the Constellation-class frigate. The F100 has a displacement of 7,000 tons compared to the 7,500-ton Constellation-class frigate. It is also armed with a smaller 127mm gun and a smaller VLS. Despite these differences, the Constellation-class frigate is still expected to cost more than the F100 frigates. The Air Defense Destroyer Multi-Purpose Vessel, or the ADMV, is a multi-purpose vessel that is being built for the Indian Navy. It has a displacement of 7,500 tons and is armed with a 127mm gun and a VLS. The ADMVs cost around $1.5 billion each. Like the previous ships mentioned, the ADMV is still smaller than the Constellation-class frigate. The ADMV has a displacement of 7,500 tons, the same as the Constellation-class frigate. But it is only armed with a 127mm gun and a smaller VLS compared to the Constellation-class frigate. Despite this, the Constellation-class frigate is still expected to cost more than the ADMVs. In conclusion, we can see that the Constellation-class frigate is a very capable and modern warship. It will be armed with a powerful VLS, a 127mm gun, and torpedoes. It will also be equipped with an electronic warfare suite, a combat management system, and a modern radar. When we compare the Constellation-class frigate to other similar warships around the world, we can see that it is a bit bigger and more capable than some of them. It is smaller than the Arleigh-Burke-class destroyer, but it is still considered to be a major warship. The estimated cost of the Constellation-class frigate is around $10 billion. This is excluding the cost of the weapons and equipment that will be carried by the ship. The cost of the weapons and equipment will depend on the specific mission profile of the ship. For example, if the ship is to be used for anti-submarine warfare, then the cost of the weapons and equipment will be higher than if the ship is to be used for land attack. What do you think of the Constellation-class frigate? Do you think it is worth the money? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and share it. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.